Yo, what is up, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video, continuing the daily upload streak that's going on in December. It is currently December 22nd, so we're only 9 days away from getting a video every single day of December, and I want to thank you all before I start this video for supporting me throughout this upload streak. It's been super fun to make a video every single day. I've got some really fun ideas leading up to Christmas, so make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see those videos. Today's video, we're going to look back on a tweet that I made before the season, as you can see, on Twitter on August 7th, I think it was about like a month or so before the season. I used to drop some hot takes about the NBA offseason so far for me to react to in a video. So these are your offseason, preseason NBA hot takes. So I'm going to go through them and kind of just think back on them and see which ones were right, which ones were wrong, and kind of just talk over maybe why some people thought these things. I thought it'd be a fun video idea. So if you like these type of videos, let me know in the comment section below and we'll go ahead and get into it. So remember, this is August 7th. This is still like a couple months before the season, so there's a lot of time for things to kind of change. Starting off with the fact that Jordan here said that the Chicago Bulls will not make the playoffs. As we know now, that's very wrong. I mean, the Eastern Conference did look very scary. It looked like there were a lot of really good teams. I personally was someone who always thought the Bulls were going to make the playoffs, so I didn't agree with this, but I guess I could see why he thought so. Next, we have SJ, who said that the Warriors would be back in contention. 100% true. We'll see a couple like those. A lot of people believe that the Warriors were going to be back, and they were absolutely right. Nick's rants here said that the Knicks offseason was better than the Bulls offseason. Not even close, as we can see now. Of course, hindsight is 2020. I thought the Knicks had a good offseason too. I thought Kemba and Fournier would be pretty helpful as scorers, and of course, that has not worked out so far. Kemba has been playing better as well as Fournier, so maybe there is still time for them to turn things around, but up to this point, it's not even been close. I mean, even if those guys do turn it around, they're not better than the Bulls offseason because they brought in DeRozan, who's playing like an MVP candidate, so this take will never be right. Unless the Knicks win a championship somehow, which I don't see happening, but maybe the Knicks can kind of salvage their offseason a little bit. Followed by the Knicks have an underrated offseason, and some people just don't see the vision. Maybe not. The Bulls offseason was extremely overrated. A lot of people thought the Bulls were pretty overrated. Darius Garland, a top 3 player in his draft class. Yeah, I think there's a decent argument for him being a top 3 player in his draft class if you think back on it now. Yeah, because you've got like Zion, Ja, Garland, I think is right there, an argument for 3rd. There are other names that you could definitely put out there as well, but I don't think that's a bad argument. The Lakers will have injury issues again. Josh Giddey will have at least 5 triple-doubles. Now, Giddey doesn't have one yet, but he's been very close, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season he will have at least 5. The Lakers having injury issues again. It's happening. This person was dead on. The Mavericks are one of the biggest losers of the offseason, not bringing in any secondary ball handler alongside Luka. Kevin, very good take. It's been a clear issue that the Mavericks need another ball handler. Jalen Brunson is doing his best, but he's not enough to really help out Luka in the way that they need him to. So this was a pretty good take. Wow, there have been a lot of pretty good takes so far. The Warriors will be the #1 seed in the West and make the NBA Finals. Now, of course, the season isn't finished, but they are 100% in contention for both of these things. So, playoff Draymond making a pretty good prediction. Cavs will make the playoffs. I mean, it looks like it so far. This is something that I said in my video where I talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers and how I was so wrong about them, how I didn't see it happening at all, but it's happening. The Bulls are extremely overrated. That was not true. The Cavs should have traded Allen. Nope, not at all. The Cavs will be a top 4 team. A lot of good takes about the Cavs, as well as some bad ones, but the fact that people, I mean, this is a Cavs fan, but the fact that even as a Cavs fan, you were confident enough to say that you would be a top 4 team, especially when the fact that they've been missing Colin Sexton the whole time, it's bold. It was a very hot take coming into the season, and Owen got it right. Trae Young will be an MVP candidate. If his team was better, he would be, so it's not a bad take. Miami's a top 3 team in the East. They're right there in that conversation, so I would agree. The Nuggets are pretty good. They're solid. Of course, this was before Michael Porter Jr. went out for the season, so Asher couldn't have predicted that. Sixers aren't as screwed as people think. I do think they should make an official decision on Ben, but other than that, they've made a couple decent moves. I think this is right. They're not screwed. They're a pretty solid team when they're healthy. They do need to trade Ben Simmons to be a contender, but I do think they're playing okay basketball. The Spurs need to completely blow it up and trade DeJounte. Maybe not. I mean, DeJounte's played like an all-star, holding on. You could trade him for some assets if you really wanted to, but with the way that he's been playing so far, I think he's good. And they're still not a great team. They're still able to kind of tank, even though DeJounte's playing like an all-star. So, it's going well for them. The Nets end up a bottom 4 playoff seed. This is not true. They are currently at the top of the Eastern Conference. Celtics 8 seed, they're right around there. The Warriors have acquired some veteran pieces for another championship run. Gavin makes a very good point. Let's see. Miami Heat, or THG got massively overpaid for a guy that sometimes gets DNPs. He's not getting DNPs, but he's playing really bad as of right now. So I think a massive overpay you certainly could say, but the Lakers were more so paying him for his potential. He's not playing very well so far, though, to make up for his contract. The Heat's offseason was overrated, not a top echelon team in the East. I think they are a pretty solid team. Of course, we haven't seen them fully healthy very often, and yet they're still playing decent basketball. The Hawks have one of the top 2 trade packages for any superstar. That is true, I still think. Justice Winslow was underrated. He missed 2 free throws the other day to cost the Clippers the game, so maybe not. The Wizards improved a lot. It looked like it for the start of the season, but maybe a little less so now. The Bulls are borderline contenders. I do think that's true. Good call, Rondo. The Hawks are making it to the finals. Overton, we'll see. It'll take a little bit more. It'd take a little bit for the Hawks to make it to the finals at this point. They'd have to have a big turnaround. Let's see. RJ Barrett, an all-star. Not quite there. He's playing okay. At times, he's been inconsistent, but an all-star's pretty out of the reach. Let's see. The Blazers will be fine with the moves that they made. Give Chauncey a chance with CJ, Dame, Norm, Rocco, and Nurk. If anything, CJ will get dumped by the deadline. They're not fine. They have been really mediocre, so this was not a good take. It looks like, once again, these are all hot takes, so these aren't just, these are very extreme opinions, so don't give too much hate to the people that made them. The Lakers offseason was mediocre, and they won't be as good as everyone thinks. This isn't completely true up to this point. I thought the Lakers would be a contender for the 1 seed. They've been super mediocre to this point. Now, they have dealt with some injuries, of course, but just overall, even when healthy, they don't look like the team that many people thought they were going to be. The Clippers aren't making the playoffs. They're right there kind of on the fringe right now, so maybe this will be true later. The Pelicans are by far the biggest losers of free agency, with the Mavs being the second biggest. It does look like the Mavs were pretty big losers in free agency, and the Pelicans, yeah, losing out on Lonzo Ball. Of course, that was their game plan. Devontae Graham, I was going to say he hasn't quite been what Lonzo Ball has been, but he hit the longest buzzer beater in NBA history, so, can't give him too much for that. But the Pelicans are not playing well so far. Of course, they are missing out on Zion, so that is a big issue. Most underrated signing, Jeff Green to the Nuggets. I mean, not really. Scotty Barnes was the right choice over Suggs, 100%. It definitely looks like it so far, so good call there. Let's see. Knicks second round, no question. I have many questions about that one. Ben Simmons is going to hear all the trade talk and have a bounce back year. He hasn't quite played, so not necessarily the case. Kem Birch will win most improved player. That's a very hot take. Let's see. The Suns will still be a top 3 team in the West next season, barring injury. 100% true. Good call, Tristan. Let's see. We've got Celtics missing the playoffs. They are kind of on the fringe right now. I don't think they will miss the playoffs, but they're kind of on the fringe at the moment. The Hornets had a great offseason, and Kelly Oubre will have a breakout season. The Hornets did have a pretty good offseason. Kelly Oubre's been really good for them. I don't know if I'd quite call it a breakout season, but he's been phenomenal so far, so they did have a great offseason. The Warriors are a top 3 to 7 team in the league if Klay comes back. Even without Klay, they're the top 1 or 2 team in the league up to this point. We'll do a couple more. There are a lot right here from Brown Mamba. So let's see. The Blazers will lose in the first round again. That does look like to be the case, even if Dame hangs around. Whoever gets Schroeder as a backup point guard will be a championship contender. Not necessarily for the Celtics right now, although I do think they are going to move him by the deadline. The Lakers are a super team. Maybe not. Maybe not. So a couple back and forth takes there. Hornets are making the playoffs. They are doing that. Let's see. The Celtics actually had a good offseason. Maybe. We haven't really seen the team be super healthy so far, so we can't really say. And we'll do 2 or 3 more. The Bulls wasted some of their future to get just a 7 to 10 seed. Not the greatest take. Not exactly right, Smoggy. Little off. And the Pistons will be in the play-in. they're pretty bad. Yeah, not in this universe, maybe in like some multiverse out there. And we'll do one more. Let's see. Josh Giddey will finish top 5 in Rookie of the Year voting. I think up to this point, he is top 5 in Rookie of the Year voting. So, those were some of your hot takes to start off the season or in the off season. Let me know what some of your hot takes were. Let me know which one of these you thought is, or which ones you were like most impressed with people calling, which were the worst takes in this video. I appreciate y'all watching. I will see you all later.